drifts over withering crops as a blackened tumbleweed rolls across the backdrop of a decrepit farm, bringing the scent of death in its wake. The broken moon gently fades behind the Alamex mountain range, leaving behind a dark shadow, like a distant memory. Darkened, cracked dunes would soon reflect waves of heat as the blood-orange sun creeps across the earth's carcass, bathing all in its haze. Its light never fully piercing the dark clouds as perpetual reddened skies blanket the wasteland. In the hottest summer months that any living soul can recall, tensions across the prairies are reaching a proverbial boiling point, as if unforeseen droughts, cattle rustling, road bandits, brutal savages, and a bizarre pestilence weren't enough. Rumors abound of mad scientists, buried artifacts, renegade legionnaires, and monstrous hordes massing at the borders. The signs were clear. Chaos was coming for Hellgate. In the middle of this maelstrom stands the heart of the earth. Ranchers, farmers, honest folk just struggling to survive against the ravages of the wasteland. All of them now wondering if justice had forsaken them. This was only the beginning. When the smoke clears and the blood dries, where will you stand? Cowboys and Mutants, the 6th dystopian Dawn book. This source adventure book expands Alamex and New Rome, with over 100 pages crammed full of adventure, new creatures, new gear, new magic, and a host of new characters to populate your world. In Cowboys and Mutants, you'll face wasteland raiders, renegade legionnaires, mutant monsters. Experience new magic, magical items, mystical creatures, and things never before seen in Dystopian Dawn. And finally experience the Old West in ways that only Dystopian Dawn can bring you. So grab your 6-shooter, ready your magic, and jump on in for a whole new world of adventure.
Knowledge is like a seed. When sown in fertile minds, it opens doors to new possibilities. Truth, once buried by the ages, is again revealed. The unimaginable becomes demystified. New wonders are discovered that transcend the limitations of previous understanding. However, some doors should never be opened. Our tale continues with the divergent paths of our heroes. As a naive king toils with ancient powers beyond his control, a grieving queen makes a fateful decision that forever changes their world. Infinito Chronicles. The War of the Trees.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to the parlor. Happy Sunday. As a matter of fact, what is this? The second or first Sunday? I don't know, but my brothers will know. Hello, Jeremy and Ray. Good morning.
Good morning.
Bah humbug.
Tis not the season for no bah humbugs no more.
I see a Christmas tree still.
Yes, there's still a Christmas tree there.
Oh yeah. So before we get too much further, I just want to give everyone a big thanks for previewing those ads for me. Tony G-Man of Dystopian Dawn is running a backer kit for Cowboys and Mutants, and that ends in about 12 days. He's about $204 short of making his $1,500 goal. So if you guys will check out the link in the chat there and consider backing that would mean the world to me and to him. As well as Chris Fisk from Infinite Tale Chronicles. I just finished reading the preview copy that I got of the manga edition. Not super familiar, but I really love where the story is going. I think the only criticism I have for it is that it ends on such a cliffhanger, and I'm not exactly sure what Chris's release schedule is, so I'm hoping that he gets to keep that hype train going. Because I would love to see where Infinite Tale Chronicles goes and like how long the story spans with the characters that were introduced. It's a really fun thing that like questions like the tyranny of the powers that be. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was interesting because I'm not a huge manga reader, and I had to like relearn how to read comics backwards, or I guess forwards, as far as the manga is concerned. Anyway, and then I want to give a big thanks to the certified Big Parlor peeps, as seen here on your screen, who help keep my lights on and my internet running, so that way I can keep on doing the show and continue to make books and do art commissions and all that fun stuff. So big thanks to you guys. Alrighty. Well, fellas, long overdue, mostly on my part because I can't get my stuff together. But
he didn't want to do it, anyone. He just was refusing for weeks. We had to strong arm him into it.
They had to send like Temu Pinkertons ordered on Wish, if you will, to get me to finally do this. I really wanted to wear like a nice shirt, but this is a Christmas shirt that my wife made me, and it's got buttons on it, so it's the nicest shirt I own. All right, let's see who's in chat. We got Jack. Good morning, our favorite and only goblin we will let live. Jack is doing a Gobstein with Mortar McTrebuchet, the guy that won the SAC competition. And I think they're going to be doing it for a charity. So check out Jack McCarthy. Jack, drop your X link so that way people know where to check out the Gobstein. We got Guy Friendly. Bah! Dung Beetle.
What the hell is a Gobstein?
A Gobstein, I believe, is a play on the words of Harmony Ginger's Godstein. So it is going to be a role-playing game. Oh, hello, Ultra. Thank you very much for your $1. Happy New Year, guys. Just chilling for a bit before late Xmas Shadow Dark one shot. Oh, nice. Who are you playing with? Are you going to be playing that over on the Patty server? And then we got Pro Corn. Happy New Year. Corn, Sunday is usually your range day. So if you go out to the range, you be safe, have fun, unload lots of bullets. All right. So
the baby's crying.
We probably ought to get right into it because I know Ray only has like an hour before he's got to go, right? On top of having babies running around.
I think he has less than an hour now.
Yes. So the timer is on. So we're going to roll right on into this, guys. Here we go. I got my presentation. I'm going to turn my camera off because you already know what I look like.
Oh, yeah. Let me turn mine off.
That way you guys can see. All right, so we took just a couple of categories. These are the end-of-year PP awards. There is a winner and then an honorable mention, which is basically second place. And we're going to kind of go through our reasons why. Now, the caveat here is that the game did not, or the product did not have to have come out this year. This is just stuff that we played. We had to have played it this year for sure. Except for in the case of best model, because because sometimes you really like the way a model looks, but you just don't want to own it. So these will just be what our thoughts are on best things that we had happen gaming style for 2024, along with some thoughts.
It also could have just been that it's way too big to have printed already and built and painted.
Yes, that's another big part of it. Like I've printed 2 large minis and haven't gotten around to painting them. But we talked a little bit about that on the phone yesterday. All right, so best RPG. We're going to start with Raymond. Raymond gave the gold medal to 2014 5th edition.
Boo.
You just hate it because it's cool.
I just hate it because people like you made it lame.
Like me?
Yep.
use it at like 3.5.
You introduced stuff like furries.
I have
gross.
no furries in my universe.
Lies.
All right, so you picked 5th edition. Oh no, Billy. Billy, we're busy. All right, should we go down to Jeremy and then we'll go back up to Ray?
No, we can. I think I got him distracted.
Okay, so why'd you pick 5th edition, especially the 2014? I imagine you probably didn't get any games of 2024 in.
So the 2014 I picked because it's what I'm DMing for that group I do on Thursdays, and it just I'm getting the most games out of it, and I don't know how I am DMing it. It just if I would, it would be using the 3.5 wall sets, but my players are lame.
Oh no!
Did we lose Ray?
Yeah, we're losing Ray to the imp demons in the background. They're taking him away.
I think he's gone. Let's see if he comes back.
Oh, he's crying.
Oh yeah.
What did you do to him?
I told him to leave. So yeah, D&D. The game I've played most this last year, and I don't know, just all the events that have happened. That way it gets best for me. If I played more of Castles and Crusaders, I'm sure it would have had gold instead. But we've played 4-5 weeks of it before we stopped.
I don't remember exactly how much we played.
Yeah,
not a lot.
And so that's the reason Castle and Crusaders, I think I enjoyed as a game more, but for like my whole year, the entire year together, it just doesn't have enough playtime to get gold. So that's why Castles and Crusaders got silver for me.
Oh, I
Works
like
for
that.
me.
Jack says Trollza. I like that. I'm gonna start saying that.
Jeremy, you gave Troll Lords, Castles and Crusades gold this year.
I did. I really enjoyed Castles and Crusades. It, in my opinion, is 100% what a retro style OSR type game should be. It totally captures the feel of when I originally started playing D&D way back in 1993 or 4, whatever it was. Not too complicated, not too simple. Has everything there, and I really enjoyed the system. But Horde Wars also felt that way, but I only did one game of it, and I wish I'd got time to play more of it. But none of my friends were interested in it. Local friends.
Dang it. That's okay. I think I'm gonna make Horde Wars my primary driver once I finish up this this little bit of a stint with Shadow Dark. And man, I tell you what, it was. I guess I'll go on to my picks here. Best RPG was Iron Kingdom's role-playing game. I've been dying to play this game. I've been able to run a couple of one-shots, and I had a campaign that the 6 months, the dreaded 6-month campaign. I had a campaign going for like 6 months, and then I got put on fires, and then I changed jobs, and we were never able to pick it back up. But Jeremy ran Iron Kingdom's role-playing game for us, and I had an absolute blast. It was, like I said, it was fun to actually be on the player side of it rather than running it. Being able to finally make my troll character and playing with Junior was super fun. And then being able to share it on the channel with all of you guys that are watching, that meant a lot to me. It was a close choice because I really do enjoy Horde Wars, but I haven't ran Horde Wars yet. So I'm looking forward to doing more Horde Wars in 2025. I guess the next honorable mention for me would be Shadow Dark, because I did get to play a lot of that. But Horde Wars beat out Shadow Dark because ingenuity and it just being not 5th E in a different dress. You know what I mean?
Speaking of Horde Wars, that is the system we will be playing with when we start up my new campaign. We'll be using the Horde Wars rules. So Ray and whoever games with us will have to get those rules over to you somehow. And then on top of that, the game will be taking place in the Wilder Lands.
Oh no!
Yes.
It was rigged. Rigged, I tell you. Revote, recount.
Campaigned and canvassed.
So those were best RPGs. It was really funny that there was a as Kamala Harris would like to say, a lovely Venn diagram here between the three of us. I'm just glad that I didn't end with 5th edition. Mostly because I think the only 5th edition I really played was the system that Jeremy ran. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like sci-fi 5th edition, right?
What's that? Esper Genesis.
Yeah, Esper Genesis was basically 5th edition with a sci-fi clothing on it, right?
Yes, there's a couple of other ones that are similar.
All right, let's catch up on chat before we go to the next category. I would say 20 gold 24 for Shadow Dark, silver 24 for Castles and Crusades. Oh, thank you very much, Jack McCarthy, for the $2. I appreciate that. $2 for consecutive mentions of Castles and Crusades. Trollza! I love that.
It was funny. My 2 picks were the options for what system we were going to play. If Greyhawk had won the poll, we were going to do Castles and Crusades. And if Wilder Lands won, we were going to use Horde War.
Okay. Let's see here. Jack McCarthy said his best RPG of 2024 was Kal Arath. I'm not familiar with Kal Arath, so I'm going to have to look into that.
Wait, where is that? I don't see it.
It's right underneath Ultra talking about playing on a different server. Kal Arath. I'll write that down. I'll take a look at that. The name sounds really cool.
Oh,
okay.
Way up there.
Jack McCarthy says, good call. I really like Shadow Dark 2, but it hasn't supplanted CNC as my favorite. Ultra says that he'd play in Horde Wars, so long as he gets to make a tiefling race. That would be Jeremy's call since he's running it. About to start running White Fox CNC once I get the package. Oh, that'll be cool. Okay, so let's go on to the next best war game. So this could almost showed off. Almost showed my hand there. Let's zoom back in. Best war game. All right, so this could have been a skirmish game. This could have been a MOBA game, as Jeremy and Ray and I were talking about the other day. But anything that was not specifically an RPG. So something like Rangers of Shadow Deep feels a lot like an RPG, but it is in fact a war game, even if it's cooperative. So on and so forth. So my best war game this year was Grimdark Future. I did not choose Grimdark Future Firefight because I do think Dead Zone as a skirmisher is the best skirmish game probably of all. I mean, I would say it even beats out Mutants, and I made Mutants, but I'm working on capturing that feel without totally stealing Dead Zone. But Grimdark Future Grimdark Future full sci-fi won it out for me. I have some really great memories of playing it with Kitty as well as Bjorn. Seeing his eyes light up, playing all of his orcs on the table all at the same time just made me extremely ecstatic. I love Grimdark Future, but if I'm going to play a skirmish game, I will skip Firefight and head straight for Dead Zone. So that was my caveat there. And Bjorn also helped me pick out Dead Zone as my honorable mention because him and I have been playing a whole bunch of other war games throughout the year. And then we started filming them. And I think the amount of fun that he had with Dead Zone made it win over something like Gaslands. And then of course I couldn't plug Mutants too much because that would feel very biased. None of my brothers chose Mutants as best war games. So all right.
I didn't play it this year.
Yeah, didn't play it
Jeremy.
this year.
Oh no, Jeremy, your picks.
So I picked Dead Zone because I love Dead Zone. I took part in the Mantic's global campaign for Dead Zone, playing roughly a game every 2 days using my Rebs, winning more than I lost. But it kind of burned me out a little bit by the end of it because it was about 6.5, maybe 7 weeks of gaming. I tried all kinds of new lists with my Rebs, made me paint models that I had never even thought about using in my Reb list before. And I just loved Dead Zone so much. And I believe the Rebs did technically win the global campaign, tying with the Nameless. And I believe that's going to bring some really cool stuff in the future because Mantic, unlike other companies, will use the results of the global campaign to drive the new history and fluff for their universe. And at the end of the campaign, the Rebs managed to capture and are controlling a GCPS Dreadnought. And Age of Fantasy by One Page Rules is so fun. It's everything that Age of Sigmar used to be before it got lame. So
Fair enough. So why'd you choose fantasy over Grimdark Future?
I wanted to one game from each genre, basically. So one sci-fi game, one fantasy game. If I had chose Grimdark Future as my other game, I probably would have went with Frostgrave as my other.
Oh,
If that
okay.
makes sense.
Ooh, Frostgrave. Frostgrave would have been a great choice.
That's
But
probably my top 4 games of 2024, and I played all 4 games multiple times during 2024.
I'll have to ask you, maybe we should do an episode specifically talking about the difference between Age of Fantasy and Age of Sigmar and why you think the editions got lame. Because I think I played 2nd edition Sigmar. Which one was the box that had the ghosts in it?
Second.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of that one and I enjoyed it. Of course, this being before, I think this is back when One Page Rules was still known as Easy Warhammer.
Maybe.
So I didn't even know it.
I think they were already being One Page Rules. Wylock was already talking about them that far back.
Oh, were they? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to actually do a video on that.
But I think they might have only been 40K-ish at that point. Because they didn't have a fantasy game when they first started out, I believe.
Moving on down. Best war game from Ray. Who would have thought?
This is skewed because these are the only 2 war games I've played in the last year.
That's fair. Hey, you know that means something because it means that they were the only ones that interested you enough to actually get out and put models on the table.
My problem is getting people to play with. I've played 3 games of Bolt Action in the last year, and they were in a 2-day period last May. And then I played 1 game of Grimdark Future last June. So I haven't played a war game since last June.
No.
So I think regardless if I got any other games, Bolt Action probably would have stayed gold for me. I've just the last couple years have had so much fun playing that game and I'm investing most of my time in on the tabletop, I feel, just because I love learning history and then like just seeing historical stuff on a table is tickling all the itches I need.
They tickle your itches?
Yeah, tickle my itches.
Instead of scratching them colloquially. I get it. I totally understand.
But the game is totally not historical.
It doesn't matter. You get to kill Nazis. That matters
to me.
So are you guys talking about like the difference between like straight up Napoleonics and playing Waterloo over and over again versus Bolt Action kind of lets you war game out, for lack of a better term, scenarios that didn't actually happen.
I think Jeremy doesn't like how some of the wars don't feel accurate to how weapons and things actually worked.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
So, but anyways, I really enjoy Bolt Action. Grimdark Future is on the list because I've been building a Sisters of Battle army for my better half, and I convinced her to try them, and we did it in Grimdark Future. It was a small, quick game. 100% if I played Dead Zone, if I played a game of Frostgrave. There's a dozen other games that would 100% took the silver if I just played it in the year. I will play the one-page world games, but they are by far not my favorite world sets. I don't know if it because I've kind of falling out of love with Warhammer, and Grimdark Future is just too similar to Warhammer, and I kind of don't really care about using those armies at this point. I'm more into my other game systems.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I felt like with both of the skirmish versions. Like if I was gonna play, if I had the option to play Grimdark Future Firefight or Age Fantasy Skirmish versus something like Frostgrave or Dead Zone, I'm gonna choose Frostgrave or Dead Zone before I choose Skirmish.
Yeah, I would 100% agree.
Yeah, I would have a much harder time. Like if I had time to play. And like the Grimdark Future and Age of Fantasy, they don't take as long as a 40K game to play. But if I had the time, the materials, the models ready to go, I would have a hard time choosing between playing Dead Zone or Rangers of Shadow Deep over like a full scale battle. And I think maybe it's just because I do have a lot of miniatures and I really like seeing them all on the table. And that's not something you always get with skirmish games. So that's something to think about, though.
Yeah, and I think Bolt Action's given me a lot of models on the table. So like, I don't need my futuristic or fantasy games at this point. I'm sure at some point I will want to bring out my Imperial Guard or my Space Marines and use them, but I'm okay with them sitting in their storage for like the next probably 2 years.
Oh, geez. All right. Before we go on to the next subject, let's catch up on some chat. So we had Ultra saying goodbye. I know he's probably gone by now, but see Ultra Papa, thanks for dropping by. Jack McCarthy was saying Calarath is from Castle Grief. He's on X and on Substack. It's a solo-centric sword and sorcery RPG. Picture Conan meets the Lost World. Simple rules, but has a lot of style and attitude. Tons of fun. Castle Grief is also an amazing account to follow over on X. That guy posts like his dungeon crawls. If I'm remembering correctly, I mean, one of my favorite things is he'll draw his character and the dungeon that he's playing through on random pieces of cardboard. So he's got like dungeon on a like discarded pizza box. So I really enjoy looking at his artwork. It's really gritty, it's sketchy, it's awesome. Love it. And then, do you guys know about the white box from Castles and Crusades? Was that a part of her Kickstarter, or is that something that you can just order? I thought it was something you could just order from Castles and Crusades.
I have not heard of a white box from Castles and Crusades.
I have not either.
I've seen it before. Maybe one of you guys can do a little bit of research while I'm catching up. And we got Iron Empire. Thank you for joining us, Iron Empire. Happy Sunday. Hope you are enjoying our very informal awards show of 2024 so far. If I may interrupt this viewing pleasure to remind you that we also sell some goods. We don't always just shill everyone else's stuff, but we have our Paladon shirt that you can get through Sticker Mule as well as Teespring for $24.70, which should include your shipping. As well as we make our own games that you can find over at giantslayergames.com. If you just go to the search stores and find Patty's Parlor, you can find games like Mutants and adventure modules like From Beyond and The Skeeveteer. But that's enough of me shilling me. Now we're moving on to best model of 2024. I do think, I know that all of my picks, well, both of my picks were released in 2024. But I guess we'll just move on. All right. So Jeremy picked some STLs.
Yes. My winner, the Chimera Pathfinder, was not a 2024 release. I think it's 2022, maybe
Ooh.
2023. Me and Ray kickstarted it, and he's supposed to print me one,
Yeah, that will
But he-
happen someday.
but he hasn't. But this was the ship that made me want to play Rogue Stars / what was that other skirmish sci-fi game?
Pause.
5 parsecs.
5 parsecs, yes. This was my ship that I wanted my crew to own for those games. When I saw it, I fell in love instantly. It was a great. The company that makes it is pretty cool. They also do traveler ships at 28/32 millimeter scale, as well as a few other ships. There's a Chimera that's not the Pathfinder variant, that's bigger, bulkier, square, and then they have a really cool Hammerhead Corvette that I also really like, but it came out years ago, and I didn't want to go that far back. And then my silver winner is War Games Atlantic Digital Rebel Yell, and only digital because they currently aren't plastic. But these guys are now a big part of my Dead Zone Rebs army. So,
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like their helmets. Their helmets are like really indicative of Star Wars Rebel Forces. And I don't have a lot of space to share pictures on here. And of course, everyone that's been around the parlor for a little while might be aware of my reluctance to have multiple browser screens open while I'm streaming. We're going to be testing that in the future. But the Chimera Pathfinder ship, like I said, that screenshot does not do it a justice. There are full interiors, and you could take the ship apart, so you can play inside of the ship if you wanted to.
And
I thought you were going to use the painted version because that painted version is freaking beautiful.
Yes, the painted version is beautiful. For if those of you guys listen, if you can imagine that ship painted in like the same colors that Boba Fett's armor's painted up in.
Yep.
The only reason why I didn't use that picture was because it was too hard to isolate the background.
Ah.
I used the STL just to make sure that it gave the most views of the most different views rather than the one like isometric. Same thing with these because that's War Games Atlantic. I love their miniatures. We did the Cyber Frog paint giveaway.
Yeah,
this year.
what do they call them? Gosh darn it, they have a name.
I can't remember.
Those guys are supposed to be getting some more kits this year from them.
Get out. I love Wargame Atlantic's STLs. They're very customizable. And so like one of the things that I was doing with them was to make like the Akimbo Assassin Frogs was just mirror imaging the singular pistol arm. And I had a blast painting my little frog guy and giving him away. So I hope that Richard Mitchell. Yeah, Richard Mitchell got that one. I hope he enjoys it. But yeah, you could check out both of these miniatures over at My Mini Factory. If you go searching for those, you can find those. Super easy to print. Raymond, best model.
Okay, so I for my gold medal, it was going to be between the Fallschirmjäger Winter plastic spew that just came out for bolt action, and they also did a U.S. airborne plastic spew. But I picked the Fallschirmjägers just because looking at the spew, there looked like way more options and stuff, and I'm going to more than likely order both boxes because I'm excited that if I wanted to do a winter army for Germans or Americans, I don't have to go all metal anymore. They are both were released this year, so I haven't got them yet, but I am super excited. This the only model. Those are the only two model kits that have released last year that I'm actually excited about getting. Uh, my second pick for silver is a Chaos Beast from Warcry. And the reason this got picked was I actually painted some of them this year, and I wanted to pick a model that I actually painted. Um, and I didn't want to give both playsets to Bolt Action, so this is the only non-Bolt Action model I've painted this year. But I actually really enjoyed painting it. And I do enjoy Warcry, and I've been slowly trying to whittle and get all my Warcry painted so I can just have it on shelf and pull it off the shelf like a board game and have the whole thing painted, train and everything.
Warcry first edition's good. The second edition is garbage.
I haven't played second edition, so
skip it.
But so yeah, and most of my Warcry stuff I painted last year. This is just what I had to like finish up. I only have one more of the war bands I own to paint. I still have a bunch I need to buy because kind of really this last year I haven't spent that much money in the hobby. So like I haven't really bought many new models. I haven't really paid attention to a lot of model releases. I'm sure there's a model that got released this year that I was excited about and just never got because I've been focusing on other stuff and I just don't remember it. So
that happens.
If a cool model came out and I loved it when I saw it and then I forgot about it now, I'm sorry to whoever created it. More than likely it was Games Workshop and they don't deserve my apology, so
that makes sense. Yeah, I've been right with you because normally the company, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this later. But normally the company I look most forward to seeing model releases to is Privateer Press. They sold those games over to Steamforged, and Steamforged was like, here's one release that you're going to see this year. And while they looked cool, I just wasn't all that excited for it because it wasn't my faction, and I realized that I don't really want to play the new edition of the game anyway. But yeah, I'm around the same thing. The most money I spent on my plastic cocaine addiction, I actually spent last year when I bought Cthulhu Death May Die, and I think I'm next. Yeah, so this is a great lead-in. So I gave the model of the year to Cthulhu Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown. This is the model that they used for Color Out of Space, which is one of the challenging chapters that you can get for the board game if you backed the Kickstarter last year. I particularly enjoy this one. Mostly, it's kind of like an inside joke for Kitty and I, but I really enjoy just the wisps on it. These like fungal humanoids that are like addicted to it and being assimilated into the weirdness of space and time and miasma. And I don't necessarily think that this is part of the equation, but I really enjoyed what I've read about for the episode. So I can't wait for a quiet night where Kitty, myself, and the boys can get to brass tacks and challenge this thing. And then as well as getting around to painting it. But of course, you can kind of see here off to the left-hand side of the model that there's pinks, blues, purples. So it'll be a pain in the ass to paint. But I think if I can get some really good blending on it, it's gonna look amazing. And I was looking at you guys know Mike Hutchison, guy that created Gaslands. I was revisiting a game that he was writing called Perilous Tales, which is kind of like 5 parsecs if it was horror pulp, like Universal Monsters.
I forgot he wrote that one.
Yeah, he's still working on it, and I haven't checked it out in a really long time, so I think I might pick that one up and see how that plays. But my runner-up was a one-page rules entry here for the Vampiric Undead. There's something. So this is Vampiric Lord on a corpse tidal wave. So this is the leader here up here in the casket being opened up by these vampires, and then you've got these bat horrors, which are basically like slave driving this tidal wave of corpses to get him around. And you can't really see it because I cut it out of frame here, but down here at the bottom you have some human empires that are running for their lives away from this thing, and one guy's about to just get swallowed whole. So this is very much so a diorama piece. It reminds me of like some of the stuff that Kitty would like to play. You know, she was super into the Grimkin. So I gave that one my runner up. I haven't printed it yet because I'm waiting for better weather. But yep, those are my picks for 2024 best model of the year.
That'd be awesome, all painted up.
Yes. I think what would really be a pain in the butt too is like trying to make the zombies look different. All right. Best other game. So best other game means that it was a board game, a card game. It could have been another war game if they wanted to, but this was just stuff that didn't necessarily fit into the categories above. I think we're starting with me. So my picks. Oh man, and it was a hard choice for me. So I picked Dice Throne as best other game of the year. I have shared this game with everybody that's come into my home. I got my mom and my dad and my grandmother addicted to it, so they're playing it now. We just did the Kickstarter for it. What was it, last month? So we're really looking forward to getting that. And then Portland Occupied Zone by Incel Riot, our friend William Dalebout. The only reason why this got the honorable mention, kind of like with what Ray said before about like one-page rules, except for I actually really love Portland Occupied Zone. The only reason why Portland Occupied Zone didn't get gold for me was because I cannot seem to get enough people to sit down and play it to like thoroughly enjoy it all at the same time. And then it's hard for me to share a game like that with my children. So it sits humbly on my shelf with some of its miniatures painted even, but it doesn't get to see a lot of play because I have to like figure out a way to shuck the kids off to my mom or her mom and get comfortable with doing that. So that way I can get adults in the room to play Portland Occupied Zone.
I would 100% play it with you, Pat, if I was closer.
Right. I love that game. It's so fun.
You might be able to twist my arm to play it.
But I extremely love Dice Thrones. Like it is a wonderful game. I have the Marvel edition. I love Dice Thrones.
I don't think I'll ever pick up the Marvel edition. Personally, I'm just not into the Marvel characters as much as you are. But I'm really excited for the Outcast, and I have all the season 2 stuff, and I'm going to start collecting the season 1 stuff. And I need to order the Dice Throne Adventures box because we did the villain for that, and we need to get that box in order to play it. All right, moving on. Ray.
Yes. So my gold place is Borderlands Arena of Badassery. I kickstarted this. It showed up,
2 years ago.
2 years? Year and a half to 2 years ago.
Took it to Valhalla.
I did. I took it to the last Valhalla. That way I first played it. Since then, I have broken it off my shelf every time I could get people to give it a try. I love the Borderland games. I did the Kickstarter, so I have all the Vault Hunter miniatures. I have a bunch of the extras. I wish I was way better at painting because I want to paint them in that like shell shading comic style that Borderlands has, but I know I don't have the skills to do that. So more than likely, I'm gonna have to save up the money and send it off to an actual painter that has skills, because I know I can't do those models justice.
Interesting.
But
Yeah, I'd have to see about that.
yeah, but I love that game. It's so fun. And then my wonder up is Trash Pandas. I will buy a lot of just off the wall. Like I go on to Miniature Market and like if there are games for sale, I will like throw 10, 15 games all for like $4. Like just the most random board games. This is one of the ones that I like were on sale on Miniature Market once, and I threw it in a cart with a bunch of other games and got it. I played it a couple times here and there, but whenever like the kid, it's one of the ones that gets picked off the shelf the most when I sit down and play games with my kids. This or Happy Little Dinosaurs. My kids would like Happy Little Dinosaurs more, but my choice would be just Trash Pandas. I just like it as a fun, quick little 10-minute game.
So it plays well with kids then.
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
Didn't you
moving on.
play that with us, Pat, when Ignacio got it down in El Paso?
I did not. I don't. This is the first time I've seen Trash Pandas. I played Happy Little Dinosaurs and Here to Slay with Ray, but Trash Pandas, this is my first time hearing about it.
I had Trash Pandas at that same Valhalla that I had those games too, Pat. So
Best other game, Jeremy.
Oh, hold on.
Jeremy chose the All by Myself games.
Yes, because I'm all by myself. I have no friends. So,
Rough.
5 parsecs from home / 5 leagues from the borderland were by far my 2024 games. I almost launched my entire YouTube channel in 2023 / 2024 to showcase them before I got too busy with work. And then I kickstarted Notorious's sequel game, which was what was it called? Insidious?
Infamous?
Maybe. Starts with an I.
Really
and-
selling us.
Well, I didn't get a chance to use it because we were supposed to start a play-by-post game where me, you, and Ray and Bjorn all did our games, and then you guys reported under me, and then I kind of showed it off on the channel, but we just never got to it.
Right. Yeah. I think mostly because we ended up doing a lot more actual role-playing games. We wanted to do the Notorious thing because we were worried between school and the new baby that I wasn't going to be able to commit to playing regularly. But she's been an incredibly easy baby, and because of Miss Parler's continued determination and excellent mothering abilities, we've been able to actually keep playing our role-playing games. So a lot of the reason why Notorious fell off was because we were actually just playing role-playing games together rather than by ourselves together.
Yep. And so that was why my 2 choices. Notorious is really fun. And it's very Mandalorian. Pretty sure the guy watched a crap ton of Mandalorian and decided to make a minute, or not a miniature game, but a journaling / adventure game based on it.
Yeah, with Notorious, I really love the art and layout. The one time I did play, it got extremely repetitive for me. But I think that was just because that's just the way my dice were playing out that particular day. But definitely go into Notorious with a notebook in mind to keep your character. No minis are required. Mostly just a D6 game. You might be rolling 2D6 every once in a while.
You don't need miniatures for 5 leagues / 5 parsecs either.
No, you do not. All right, biggest disappointments. So this is going to kind of bring us off to like a little bit of a lull. You know, we want to keep it a little fresh because there are some disappointments. Ray, did you want to go first? Because I know you got to get out of here soon.
So I might be able to stay a little longer than I originally said.
Yes,
The
then stay
little
longer.
screaming goblins and his mother aren't ready, so I got a little more time. But my biggest disappointment is Flesh and Blood. I know when I ordered it all, I bought it up on the live stream months ago that I ordered it. I watched a lot of videos and kind of got really excited, so I ordered 8 or 10 decks right off the get-go. It cost like a little over $100, so a little more than $10 a deck, which I thought comparative to playing like Magic or Lorcana or Pokemon, I thought the price entry level wasn't bad to like just get a bunch, give options to play the game and see. When everything showed up, played a few games, but quickly found out that the power levels between the games were all, or between the decks, were not even. Some decks overly outshined other ones, and other decks just could not do anything. And I've watching all the videos and like all the recommendations are like, oh, get these decks to like start the game with. I felt very
We lost Ray to the demon again.
yeah. I felt very disappointed at the inaccuracy. Like, I don't know, when you see a review and the review is overwhelmingly good, and then you go and do it, and then when you leave it, you're like, that is the worst thing. Like, because you got so hyped from the reviews. Like, maybe if I didn't know the reviews and I tried it, I wouldn't feel as bad. But because I was so hyped and was so looking forward to it and how it actually played, I was disappointed. So, like, maybe if I wasn't as hyped, I wouldn't have been disappointed with it. But I mean, it left a bad taste in my mouth.
All right. Well, for me, totally different situation. So you guys can see I've got Monster Apocalypse board game on here, and conveniently underneath Ray's box of Flesh and Blood, you can see the disgraced logo of Mythic Games. My biggest disappointment was I knew, I mean, whoops, this wasn't something that's new news. This is old news. I reported on this a
Warned
little
you.
while ago. What's that?
I warned you.
Yep. I'm glad that I was way too poor to afford a Kickstarter at the time that Kickstarter was going, because I would have been upset. So why is this a disappointment even into 2024? I blame Mythic Games for Privateer Press having to sell off War Machine to Steamforged Games. I think it's not totally, but I think it was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of Privateer Press. I would say botched the launch of Mark IV War Machine, very like hardcore. They were not ready for War Machine Mark IV. They launched it too early, but because of Mythic Games' failure on the Kickstarter and things not looking good for the Riot Quest line when Mythic Games tried to take over that, I think too much goodwill on Privateer Press's part was taken away. And then they tripped over their own mistakes into another big blunder. But yes, Monster Apocalypse has been dead quiet. No new releases in a long time. Sounds like Cool Mini or Not picked up the IP, the board game rights, and will be doing the core boxes. So the people who backed the Monster Apocalypse Mythic board game Kickstarter, I believe that you will have to pay shipping to get your core box, but there are no stretch goals. And
I didn't think that they got that one. I thought they got all the others except for that one because of Privateer Press.
I'm not sure. from what I've read, it sounds like Cool Mini or Not is going to be fulfilling the rest of the Monster Apocalypse board game. So that's kind of what I was
they
alluding
are.
to. That also goes into my other biggest disappointment was I got really excited when Steamforged Games picked up War Machine and Warcaster, Company of Iron, Iron Kingdoms, Riot Quest, all of that. I think the problem that we're running into with Steamforged Games is they're already a massive company with a bunch of different IPs. So what that means for people who are fans of Warcaster and War Machine, it just means that, well, Steamforged Games wants to make sure that their Epic accounters and other games are still receiving fulfillment and news and releases. And so it seems like War Machine, as well as the other games, went to the sideways with no new news for Warcaster, a very scant release schedule for War Machine. And I think the only thing that they really did was they picked up and started really fulfilling the Iron Kingdoms 5th edition role-playing game rules, with their first outing being the what was their X-Files? What was War Machine X-Files? I totally forgot. Strange Light Workshop. So I'm really hoping that Steamforged Games picks it up, does something new with the releases. I went and saw a couple of boxes of War Machine at one of the physical stores nearby. And I looked at the price of some of these things. There was one box I picked up that had 3 models in it, and it was priced at $89.99. And I said, nope, can't do it. The 2-player battle box, solid price point for 2 players, but to get any expansions, to get into any other faction, I'm still priced out. So I think I will be skipping War Machine and whatnot moving into the future. Jack McCarthy, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate that. This is to help you recover from the trauma of DMing for 100 people. I appreciate that. All right, let's scroll down. Yeah, I'm gonna need to replenish from the trauma. All right, most look forward to. So what I can say is Privateer Press finally came out of the woodwork on their Facebook page. It doesn't seem like they're using their X account for anything useful, or at all, really. But they came out on their official Facebook page saying, basically, hey, everybody, we know that you are all missing us and you want to know more about Monster Apocalypse. And we're here to tell you that we've got news to release news on January 30th. If you're watching this later, today is January 5th. So we got 25 days before we find out anything new about Monster Apocalypse. In that time, I was at a physical location and they were selling their Monster Apocalypse for 60% off. And I bought 4 new Kaiju. I figured, well, if they end up not doing anything with Monster Apocalypse, then I will have fun playing Titans of Fallen Earth by Greg of Chronicles of Iris. When he releases his Kickstarter, I got to play a little bit of that, and I got to use my Monster Apocalypse minis to play that. So, it just makes sense to keep on buying Kaiju minis. And I've been wanting to make a Kaiju game that was basically taking William Hungerford's Extreme Colossal Wrestling and the best parts of what I loved about Monpoc and making my own game with Kaiju. But we'll see how far I get with Titans of Fallen Earth. But that's what I'm looking forward to, along with a plethora of other games and such. And then, Jeremy, you were looking forward to Dungeon Dwellers, the RPG by Reaper Minis.
Yeah, well, I want to see what they do with it. I love Reaper's miniatures, not so much the Bones. Bones 2 is okay, kind of. They're not as bad. I prefer the metal ones for the detail. I think that their Bones miniatures lose a lot of the detail in them. But this role-playing game kind of captures maybe the feel of early Pathfinder / 4th edition D&D style with the art that they showcased. And I want to see what type of mechanics they introduce. If it's just a clone, a retro clone, or if they come up with something new and unique with it.
Yeah. I too am a little clone burnt out. I can tell you that much. It's the reason why games like Horde Wars and Dystopian Dawn intrigue me, because they're not just the same game with a different skin on it, different mask on it. So I'm interested. I'm curious what Joseph C. Wolf has done in the past. Not that is going to be a great indicator if the game is going to be good or bad, but just to kind of get an understanding from like where he's coming from, what it is he's trying to emulate with this game. But you can check that out over on Reaper Minis website. I want to say it's reaperminis.com. But yep.
I didn't even know Dungeon Rollers was a thing. How have I missed this?
They really haven't announced a lot about it. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, there are the 3 books, is what I saw when I was looking at the website just before we started this.
I guess I just don't go to the website often enough.
And I don't think they kickstarted it. It's 100% its own release.
Okay.
They did it all internally.
Alrighty, that will conclude the Patty's Parlor year in review / Big PP Awards for 2024. I am looking forward to making a bigger deal of it next year. I guess that really comes down to whether or not more games gets played. I would like to have like little skits that play in between this thing and probably make it a bigger production. Maybe play it at, I don't know, maybe at night, or have it be a bigger Sunday afternoon thing. But yep, like I said, the games don't necessarily have to have come out this year. This is just a way of us appreciating games that probably don't see a lot of love from stuff like the Ennies or the Deanna Jones Awards, stuff like that. For whatever reason, not mainstream enough, not made by the right people, so on and so forth. I hope you guys like this presentation. I hope that if you have played these games, that you were like, yeah, that game does deserve some recognition for being so great. Or maybe perhaps we showed off something you never heard of before, or maybe something you had heard of but were reticent to try because you didn't have anyone that you trust review the game. So
I did find the announcement from CMON about their acquisition of the IP, and it is only for Mythic's personal IPs, so Hell the Last Saga and Anastrea.
Really?
Yes.
They
did not get anything that was not owned 100% by Mythic Games, meaning they did not get Monster Apocalypse.
All right, well, I'm going to go back to this, and we're going to turn this stuff off. Again, big thank you to the certified Big Parlor peeps, and then turn that big black box off there. And then, you guys want to turn your cameras back on. I'm going to do some digging because I could have swore...
No, because I got the announcement in my email because I, unfortunately, am a backer of Anastrea. Because I thought it was Monolith and not Mythic. If I had saw it was Mythic, I would not have backed it.
What did you want to know about the white box again, Pat?
You want to know
the Castles and Crusades white box.
Yeah. So it looks like you can order it on Troll Lord Games right now.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. So, got my interest in Jack McCarthy.
$50 for the print version, $63 for the print version and a PDF, or just $15 for the PDF. They're not bad prices. It looks... I actually might add this to my birthday list.
Oh man, what is this? I got stuck in like some weird subscribe thing. No, I don't want none of that.
Have Jeremy talk to you about my new hope and goal for this next year, Pat?
What's that?
So as soon as Blood Bowl 2, or I guess even Blood Bowl 3, as soon as one of those games go on sale, where I can buy it for both you and Jeremy without breaking the bank, I want to do a Blood Bowl league on Steam with us, and we can invite other people who own the game. I am only willing to buy it for you two, though.
JP
Nice.
says he never wants to see your PP ever again unless it's Privateer Press.
Does it work on Mac though?
It does.
Okay.
At least 2 does. I haven't checked 3. I'm sure 3 does if 2 does.
Trying to see. I saw something on Facebook about Simon and Monster Apocalypse, but of course now that I want to know about it because I didn't screenshot it back then, I can't find it now. Man, I did not realize that just between the Last Saga and Anastyr, they raised $3.2 million, and they still managed to fumble that bag of cash.
What is his name? The owner of Mythic. He kept going on these extravagant, crazy vacations, posting all over his social media about it, and people were really, really pissed off about it.
All right, I'm gonna open this up, and I don't use Facebook very often, but I'll show this. Oh, you want to present? What are we presenting here? Oh, that's Calarath. Very cool.
Yes. And it gives you a little preview. Oh, imagine that. It opens at a new tab.
Oh, nice. No worries. Yeah, dude, that Castle Grief guy is metal. You got to check it out. JP Got Rockets. This year's goal: paint more by less, finish many projects, and more field trips. You got to take us more field trips. Iron Empire. Maybe one day I'll have mine, and it'll be okay. Let me see here.
Ew, that's pretty cool art.
Yeah, he does really good stuff. He is top tier, I'd say. Top tier.
2D6 system. I don't know how that's an OSR.
Probably because it's old school Renaissance rather than old school Revival. But I don't know.
Old school Revival right under it.
I talk a lot with a bunch of other indie creators, and they're like, slap 5e on anything and it'll sell.
Yeah. Why so like I've been trying to get my old stuff weighted up, Pat, and I'm slapping 5e on it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so we were talking with TBE and the bros, and basically it came down to, it's like, a lot of people don't realize that you can take any adventure. Look, they don't want you to know this, but you can take any adventure from any system and transport it into 5th edition. But people won't do it. They just won't do it. They don't know how many geese from the park you could take for free. But yeah, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, it's not for 5th edition, so I'm not gonna play it." Like, the people who suffer the most from this are creators like, I don't know. I guess you could say Venger and the Red Room, because a lot of their stuff would be very easy to convert to 5th edition. You know. But people will pass on it because they don't know what Wretched is. People will pass on it because they don't know what Crimson Dragon Slayer is. Lamentations of the Flame Princess, the same thing. Like, it's so easy to convert, but it's not enough to say it's good for any system, right? Because people will be like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. You have to specifically say this is a 5th edition product, and then inside the book you can create a conversion kit for stuff like Horde Wars. Like, I'm very tempted to work with DM Blackwall on making Horde Wars stuff, but then releasing a separate document for 5th edition, because for lack of a better word, normies, quotes and normies don't want to play anything other than 5th edition because it's too strange for them.
And I mean, that the main reason my game every Thursday is 5e. But not everyone can be expert GMs like us, Pat.
That's right.
Can fit any adventure on the fly as we're DMing, because I don't do prep work. I just grab them Pathfinder adventures and make them 5e as I play.
Right. Yeah, and that's a lot of how I go. JP Got Rockets. Lamentations of the Space Princess, when Leia saw the Millennium Falcon. Right. Well, I know machinations of a Space Princess is a real thing. You can find that on GiantSlayerGames.com. All right, let me clean up some of the chat here. So we had Wykus. Wykus is saying anything D20 with the 6 core stats gets a hard pass from me these days. I've got Axe 2 coming and enough BX clones to choke an Etten. Oversaturated. An Etten's got a rather thick neckline, so
And then it has 2 throats.
well, yeah. So that's more throats than I've got. Let's see here. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit here. JP Got Rocket says he wants Monpok. Do you want Monpok or do you want Monpok miniatures? Because
I don't agree with Wycus that Traveler is OSR. Traveler never changed. It's always been basically the same rules for the last 47 years.
Let's see here. What is JP was saying something? I've been reworking my hobby room, and I literally have one whole shelf unit full with nothing but imagine WMH's Warmahordes.
Yes, and he says he bought out a game store some years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he said they were closing and it had a fire sale.
Let's see. Normies, gasp! You coming that? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Looking forward to because I think this time last year I did a goals of 2024. I don't like necessarily New Year's resolutions because I don't think I'm necessarily going to change the person that I am a whole lot more, but things that I would like to accomplish. We are so close to having the map for Horde Wars Advanced finished. I don't necessarily want to commit to one thing or the next because this is my last year of my apprenticeship school and they just changed the testing parameters. So basically everything that I've studied this last half a year and then some getting ready for this journeyman's exam is false. And I have to get 7 different books and start studying them on top of the code book. So I don't know how much more is going to get created from me this year. If anything, I might be helping Ray and Jeremy more with their projects, along with Sonicus Maximus, whom I love and adore. Seeing what he's doing with, he's got some video games that he's working on, that I might be testing in my free time. But I'm afraid to commit to too many goals until I understand what my study habits are going to look like. With that in mind, I'll probably be sticking to, if I get free time, playing games that I know rather than maybe necessarily writing new ones. And then I will be working with Todd on art for his Heroes of Franklin City game. So you might see me working on that on stream a whole bunch. JP Got Rockets. Geez, we only need the National Electrician's Code and a practical for actual skills. Yep. Nope. Can't get that. Couldn't possibly have a test proctor see how well you make terminations or use wire nuts. They gotta see how fast you are at flipping through the NEC to find the answer along with other things.
You know what I want to see more in this next year, Pat? You playing more Garlic Phone. That was awesome.
Oh, dude, that was so fun. Man, I
extremely enjoyed watching that VOD.
That was very fun. For you guys who don't know what Gartic Phone is, I was invited to play a art game, not a whole lot unlike Telephone or Drawful, if you played the Jackbox games, by a wonderful creator here on Rumble and Twitch that goes by Dicebag Games. I hang out with him. Not every Saturday night, but usually, and he talks about making games as he draws. So his channel is very much like mine. If you like what I do on this channel, you would very much so love Dicebag Games. Make sure you go to Dicebag's Rumble channel and follow him there. And you can also find him on Twitter at Dicebag Games, as well as Creatures, and Creatures is spelt with a Y. So yeah, if you want to hang out, listen to some old video game music, and then listen to some weird. It's so funny. He's the most sane person in his chat, of all the people that he hangs out with. but it's always really fun to talk about what he's working on, and he does some really cool solo plays of his game creatures. And it is it's like a hardcore fantasy version of Pokemon without being without boiling it down to its necessary parts too much. But that's, if you're into those things, you would like creatures. And I want to say you could even pick it up for free if you go to his website, but I'll have to check in on that. Any other thoughts that you guys want to close out on?
No, kind of excited to get some Wilder Lands started up. Hopefully next month.
Well, we've got, okay, yeah, so that'll bring us into, do you know if we're actually going to be playing Iron Kingdoms tonight?
I have not heard from Miranda and Tommy at all.
Okay, so
I know won't be
Ray's
around.
gonna miss. Yeah, Ray's gonna miss it. So, with that being said, I'm not, again, this is the January of non-committals. I'm not sure if there's going to be a role-playing game tonight. Maybe Junior and I will play a game. Maybe we'll play Dice Throne. Maybe we'll play Dice Throne on stream tonight. I'll have to see how he's feeling. And if we do play Dice Throne, maybe we can get Kitty and Little Rock, my other son, on to play 2, since we could play 4-player. It just depends on how baby's doing, how Kitty's feeling. We'll see. But don't necessarily expect Iron Kingdoms tonight. If it happens, it happens. If it's not, I'm not too worried about it. But if it doesn't happen, I think we're going to be taking the next 3 Sundays playing war games or board games on the channel while we wait for Jeremy to clean up his tournaments and other miniature war game events, right?
Yep. I got Vanguard next weekend from Mantic Games, where I'll be demoing it and teaching people how to play so we can run into a campaign that's going to start in February or March, where we run Kings of War Vanguard combined with their ship game Armada combined with their full-scale game at skirmish level called Ambush. So it's like 500 points, I believe, is what Ambush is, or maybe it's 1,000.
Okay.
But and then the weekend after that, we'll be doing something with DM Blackwell.
Yep.
And then the weekend after that, I have Dead Zone, where we'll be running that. And basically, I'm kind of back to being a Pathfinder without being a Pathfinder. I'm helping the actual official Pathfinder build the crowd here until he's good on his own and can do things without me.
Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, for people who don't know, Pathfinder is a long time ago, Privateer Press used to have, oh my goodness, press gangers, and like Magic the Gathering had their tourney officials and TOs, so on and so forth. Basically, it's like a affiliate partner program, just to help push those games. So that's really cool that you're doing that. I know that One Page Rules, and I've talked to Savage Brewski about this, and I really want, that's one of my goals. One of my goals is to have Savage Brewski on this channel, because we've been on his channel, but I don't think he's ever been on mine. So I love Savage Brewski, and I know his move went really well, and he's doing a bunch of stuff with One Page Rules recently, and I'd love to talk to him about his journey going from War Machine to Warcaster to 40K, and now I think he's settling in on One Page Rules. I'd love to talk to him about that. But anyway, One Page Rules does have a program similar to that. And I was really hoping to make this year the year that I did that and incorporating that journey into this channel, but it might end up being next year's journey. Because, like I said, mostly because I really want to pass my journeyman's test. I don't want to take it and then, the odds are I might take this journeyman's test and fail it the first time and then pass it the next time. But I really like being a first time go type of guy. So I'm probably going to dive deep into the NEC along with, I don't know, some of the books that I have. I'll be using my I'll be using my tax return to buy the 6 other books that I need to study to take that test. And then a lot of time is going to be spent studying that. So, like I said, the channel's not going to be going away. I will still be streaming on Thursday nights and Sunday mornings. And I want to still stream every Sunday evening because that's when we play games. Sunday evening. It's a good way for you guys to learn to play new games or check out games that maybe you haven't heard of before. So I still like doing that, and it takes up a Sunday evening. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday that I can be studying. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Play it by ear, and who knows? Maybe I'll come out with a couple of books here soon. I have a couple I'm finishing up. And then hopefully Ray and Jeremy get some more stuff put together for their game so I could help them do layout and stuff for that.
We can play Dice Thrones on tabletop, Pat.
On Tabletop Simulator? You could play it. We wouldn't even need Tabletop Simulator. You just need to get a camera that you can point at your desk that's got your dice on it.
Yeah, but then how Jeremy going to play? He don't own it.
I don't think I want to play it.
Dice Thrones great, Jeremy. But anyways, I think we need to do more tabletop.
Does it have miniatures in it? Does it have war in it? Doesn't seem like a game I would be interested in.
We can get the miniatures.
He is the war god. It's the war for the Dice Throne. Yeah, I'll have to. You know what? I downloaded Tabletop Simulator and I still haven't got it running yet. So I'll have to check it out. I'll have to see if I can get it running on my rig.
Yeah, we as a group should pick out several board games that we would like to play, and we should just try every other week try to do a board game on it together.
I'd like to try once a month because ideally we have every other week we're all playing an RPG, right? Yeah. And then on the off weeks, Junior and I were playing war games. So I would still like for him and I specifically to play because it'll be hard for him and I to share Tabletop Simulator. But yeah, once a month, if we could figure out how to get Tabletop Simulator to feed through Rumble Studio, and it's not impossible. But the other thing too is that the Rumble team is going to be rolling out updates to Rumble Studio as well as Rumble's creator backend. So they're probably going to get, it's probably going to get a lot more seamless and a whole lot more efficient in like a couple of weeks to like 2 months. Rumble Studio is going to change. So that'll be a journey too.
I know you got it. So I want to actually get use out of it on your channel. So you didn't get tabletop for no reason. And we could even do Catan. I'm sure Battle Wizards is on it.
Oh, Epic Spell Wars with the Battle Wizards. I love that game.
Conan.
Yeah, Conan. Jeremy's like over here. Please, guys, please play Conan with me.
I will. So Epic Spell Wars. Epic Spell Wars is 100% on it. I can get the script right now. Let's see if Conan's
on it. I've played on it multiple times.
Oh, all right, let me clean up some chat here real quick, guys. So JP Got Rockets is trying to coach me on the Journeyman's exam, so that's good to know. Wycus says it's an old school system, if that means anything. I wonder if that's for Castle.
It's for Traveler. No, it's for Traveler.
Oh, for Traveler, yeah. And then Guy Friendly,
he had to leave because of a
blizzard. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can keep rattling on about what we hope to
get going.
I do need to get going.
All right.
Kind of worried them. I haven't heard a crying baby for a while. I apologize. Normally he's still sleeping, but I finally think I might got his sleep schedule fixed. So that's on me. I should have just kept letting him stay up till 5 a.m, but I needed to go to sleep early last night.
Well, all righty, guys. I really want to say, clean up this dirty chat, Patty. That's right. I got to clean it up. It's got wire insulation and all that over there. Missed you, Michael. I'm so glad you stopped in. Sorry that we're leaving right as you came in. yeah, 2024 was great, and I'm glad that we got to do this review. I'm
Just
hoping
because
next
Ray's
year.
leaving doesn't mean we have to leave.
Yeah.
Well,
Nobody needs that
I have
ugly
to,
guy.
I have to get on to my other chores,
Oh my
and then I
god.
need to finish the map, and I don't have my iPad in here with me, so I got to get onto that, and I really got to work on it without being distracted, lest I get DM Blackwall's virtual whip. So we are going to call it here. If you guys have anything that you'd like to add to the 2024 in review, please leave so in the comments below. Catch me over on X at Patio Cakes. And I look forward to another year of Patty's Parlor shenanigans with you guys. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to leave a couple of ads rolling for our friends. And yeah, I think that'll close us
Wait.
out.
How do you
Nope.
do white fur slash
White
stuff?
fur? Are you going for cool or warm? Because that guy, oh yeah, he almost looks like the Age of Sigmar guy I painted. I start with a khaki color and just dry brush my way up to not
Apothecary white.
like literally just underweight.
I don't know if
All
I have
right.
enough whites.
Happy Sunday, everybody. We'll see you. We'll see you on Thursday. I might have William Dale Belt from Crudforge. We'll see how his schedule's looking. But until then, we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.